Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Pijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandanam Braja Janaranjanam Yashodanandanam Braja Janaranjanam Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jan Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Parivajakacharya, Stotra Sat, Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, verses 1 to 5. Is that correct? So we can read it. Okay, maybe the book is better. Okay. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evam Putreshu Nasteshu. Is that not right? That's verse number 5, huh? Oh, okay, okay. That's okay. Hare Krishna. Oh, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Okay, so it is the last verse of the 5. Okay, so I'll read this verse and then we'll read together verse number 5. Shri Shuka Vacha Evam Putreshu Nasteshu Deva Mata Ditis Tadha Ritetri Vistape Daitya Paritapyad Anartha Vat. So just a translation. Shri Shuka Deva Goswami said, O king, when Aditi's sons, the demigods, had thus disappeared from heaven, and the demons had occupied their places, Aditi began lamenting, as if she had no protector. So verse number 2 says, Ekada Kashyapas tasya ashrama bhagavam agat. Nirutsavam nirudhanam samadhe viratas chirad. After many, many days, the great powerful sage Kashyapa Muni arose from a trance of meditation and returned home to see the ashram of Aditi neither jubilant nor festive. Verse number 3. Sa patinim dina vadanam kritasana parigraha sabajito yata nyayam idam aha kurudhaha. O best of Kurus, when Kashyapa Muni had been properly received and welcomed, he took his seat and then spoke as follows to his wife Aditi, who was very morose. O most gentle one, this is verse number 4. Api abadram na vipranam padre loka dunagatam na dharmasya na lokasya mrityos chandanuvartinaha. O most gentle one, I wonder whether anything inauspicious has taken place in regard to religious principles. The Brahmanas, or the people in general, who are subject to the whims of death. There's a purport by Prabhupada. There are prescribed duties for all the inhabitants of this material world, especially for the Brahmanas, but also for the people in general, who are subjects to the whims of death. Kashyapa Muni wondered whether the regulative principles, which are meant for the well-being of everyone, had been disobeyed. He accordingly continued his inquiries for the next 7 verses. Text number 5, I think that's the verse you have there, right? It says, Apiva kushalam kinchit griheshu griha medini dharmasya thasya kamasya yatra yogo hi ayoginam. Devotees? Api vanukshalam kinchit Yamedini Asya O yoga yoginam Dharmasya tasya kamasya yatro yogi hi yoginam Piva suksalam kinchit griheshu grihamedini Dharmasya yatro yogi hi yoginam. Matajis? Api vakshalam kinchit griheshu grihamedini dharmasya thasya kamasya yatra yogo hi yoginam. Api vakshalam kinchit griheshu grihamedini dharmasya tasya kamasya yatro yogi hi yoginam. Api vakukshalam kinchit griheshu grihamedini dharmatasya kamasya yatra yogi yoginam. Api, I am wondering, va, either, akushalam, inauspiciousness, kinchit, some, griheshu, at home, grihamedini, O my wife, who are attached to household life, dharmasya, of the principles of religion, artasya, of the economic condition, kamasya, of satisfaction of desires, yatra, at home, yogaha, the result of meditation, he, indeed, ayoginam, even of those who are not transcendentalists. So translation by Srila Prabhupada. Says, O my wife, who are very much attached to household life, if the principal religions, economic development, and satisfaction of the senses are properly followed in household life, one's activities are as good as those of a transcendentalist. I wonder whether there have been any discrepancies in following these principles. Let's read the verse together. O my wife, who are very much attached to household life, if the principle of religion, economic development, and satisfaction of the senses are properly followed in household life, one's activities are as good as those of a transcendentalist. I wonder whether there have been any discrepancies in following these principles. And there is a purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Aditi has been addressed by her husband, Kashyapa Muni, as Griha Medini, which means one who is satisfied in household life for sense gratification. Generally, those who are in household life pursue sense gratification in the field of activities performed for material results. Such Grihamedis have only one aim in life, sense gratification. Therefore it is said, Yan mai tu nadi grihamedi sukam hi tucham. The householder's life is based on sense gratification, and therefore the happiness derived from this is very meager. Nonetheless, the Vedic process is so comprehensive that even in householder life, one can adjust his activities according to the regulative principles of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. One's aim should be to achieve liberation, but because one cannot at once give up sense gratification, in the Shastra there are injunctions prescribed how to follow the principles of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. As explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 129, Dharmasya hi aparvagyasya narto rtayo prakalpati. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Those who are in household life should not think that religion is meant to improve the process of the householder's sense gratification. Household life is also meant for advancement in spiritual understanding, by which one can ultimately gain liberation from the material clutches. One should remain in household life with the aim of understanding the ultimate goal of life, tattva jigyasa. Then, household life is as good as the life of a yogi. Kashyapa Muni therefore inquired from his wife whether the principles of religion, economic development, and sense gratification were being properly followed in terms of the Shastric injunctions. As soon as one deviates from the injunction of Shastra the purpose of household life is immediately lost in confusion. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jana Jnanan Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasaji Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This verse brings us to many important learning points. We are observing a moment where the demigods have been driven out of heaven. And this is a major concern for Devamata Aditi. She's concerned about this. And of course, demigods, not being pure devotees, sometimes they are afflicted by pride. Because when you have a very high position, naturally, a sense of pride comes in the sense. And when that pride comes, Krishna has no alternative but to stop. And why does he do that? For a very simple reason. Because when someone is proud, he is due to commit offenses. And he will commit offenses. So Krishna, out of kindness, he stops this act. So no further offense will be done. We see, as in the example of Indra, he got so proud as to think that Krishna was an ordinary boy. And Krishna corrected him. We see this happening with Lord Brahma, the head of all the demigods. He also got a little confused when he tried to steal Krishna's cows. And then Krishna gave him a lesson. And we see that also many state leaders follow a similar trend, and they, after some very, very hard attempts to keep the power and prestige, they meet a very, very bitter end. We could name Hitler, Mussolini, so many leaders who thought they will be the ultimate controllers, and pride came over the head. They met, and that's Krishna acting through either his Yogamaya or his Mahamaya. So when the jiva gets very proud, then the Lord intervenes for the benefit of that jiva. So that's the first lesson, that pride is something which is very dangerous. And actually, it is one of the foundational verses of our bhakti process given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the 3rd verse of Shikshashtakam, Trinadapi Sunichana. This verse is so important. Why? Because a transcendentalist is supposed to do his duties without motivation and continuously. And if you're expecting something in return, that may not come. And then your service will be stopped. And devotional service stops. And we see that happen with many many of our leaders in the past, when they face a situation which they had to stop their service, they left. And after some of them were fortunate enough to meet very, very kind devotees who approached them and brought them back to the association of devotees. So that, for a transcendentalist, is a very important thermometer. And whatever service we're doing, may it be simple, medium, high, whatever level you're doing it, there's a chance that we'll become proud. Even if we are doing a little garland for the Lord, my garland is the best garland. Nobody makes a garland as beautiful as my garland. Or in any field of action, as a book distributor, you may say, nobody is as good as I am. I can do so many books. And like this, for every service, there will be one situation which we are tempted to become proud. And why does Krishna not entertain pride? Because he's not proud. So, if you become proud, or if we become proud, if I become proud, we cannot relate to Krishna. Therefore, there's no common ground. Even the gopis, when they became proud, that they were the best associates of the Lord disappeared. So going back to the main section of the verse, the pride is addressed because the demigods have been driven out. And here the mother is very concerned. Aditi is very concerned about this. So, it's very natural that a mother is affectionate to her children. We see with the example of Mother Yashoda, she's saying every morning, "Oh Krishna, you're going to tend the cows and you're going barefooted. So, this is not proper for you. You should protect yourself. There's so many thorns and stones and dangerous roads." But Krishna responds to that is, "My dear mother, we are Vaishya community is supposed to follow as the cows. We should go barefooted. Therefore, this is my dharma." So she gets pacified and she lets Krishna, but even then, she'll do her rituals. She'll do her Nishinha puja, she'll take dust from the hoofs of the cows and she'll spread around Krishna's head to protect, because that's the nature of a mother. That's just the way a mother. Of course, Prabhupada mentions in Kali Yuga is the only yuga when a mother will kill her own child. And that happens through abortion. So today we can see that perversion is very common in some countries. Actually, they are working towards legalizing abortion. But what Mother Aditi is facing is the natural manifestation of motherhood. She's concerned about her child. And being a devata, she is very much aware of the process which can give the best results. So here Kashyapa Muni, her husband, and a great sage is approaching, and she makes sure that he's well received, and after he sits, he observes the ashram is morose. There's no jubilance. Now again, when in a married life the husband travels and he comes back home, usually there is a festive, receptive mood. And when there isn't, then the husband investigates, have I done something wrong? That's the first investigation. And second, has anything wrong gone here in my absence? So Kashyapa Muni is going to do exactly that. And his question is going to be very important. He's a very important point for us to note. He says something to the degree like this. He just says, have you not performed your duties properly? Your religious duties properly? Because if one does not perform his duties properly, then moroseness will come. And that's exactly the question that Arjuna was made by Yudhishthira Maharaj when he was coming back. Yudhishthira Maharaj already had some signs that Krishna had left the planet, but he wasn't sure. But when he saw Arjuna, he confirmed. So he made the same question. Have you not performed your religious duties properly? And why? Because when we do not perform our religious duties properly, then we cannot be satisfied. And Krishna says that you will only be satisfied if you perform your duty. And he even goes beyond saying, it's better to do your duties improperly, then do someone else's duty properly. And why is that? Very simple. Because you may do the duty very well with the skill, but you don't have the mentality of that duty. So you see, someone today is very common. We may see many people teaching, but not everyone has the nature of a teacher. Because what is the nature of a teacher? A teacher teaches because it's his duty. He does not teach because of money. He does not teach because of a secondary motive. He teaches because it's his very nature. We see in the example of Dronacharya. He is teaching the person who will kill him. But he is teaching because it's his duty. In today's society, if you go to a school and there's a student who's going to kill the teacher, first the school is going to sue the student beforehand, or so many things will happen. But the teacher will not teach that student. Even if the student is a little bit off, he's prescribed as hyperactive and he's put in another place. And why is that? Because those people who are occupying the post of teachers, they don't have the nature of a teacher. Therefore, a person who has a nature should do his duty according to his nature, even if he's not an expert. But over time, he will become, and he will be satisfied. So, Kashyapa Muni is inquiring about this because he wants to understand what is happening. So the first question is, have you not executed your duties properly? Have you failed in receiving guests? Have you failed in giving donations? Have you failed in doing your religious duties at home? And she will reply later that no, everything has gone on perfectly. He should be self-assured that she did all the best she could. And you see, even in India, when a farmer's family runs out of funds, the man will go to a city for a job. Sometimes for how long? Would you know? Some Indian background devotees here. How long will a person leave home before he will come back to his family life because of an emergency situation? Any guesses? You know, when you have a financial situation, like a farmer lost his land. So Prabhupada says, see, sometimes you go to Calcutta to earn until he builds up his capital and then he'll come back. How long? Years. Sometimes 3 years. But he'll do his duty and the wife and the children do their duties, and when he comes, life is resumed. Everything. So like this, Kashyapa Muni was doing meditation. He came back, so he's inquiring about this. He wants to understand. His second question is, have the Brahmins failed to do their duties? Because that's the duty of a Brahman, is to help devotees who are in Grihastha life and for some reason are too attached. And then because of that attachment, there's a whole possibility of darkness, because attachment creates a situation where there is little transcendental knowledge, and because of little transcendental knowledge, the ignorance rises, and in that situation you cannot make the sacrifices which are necessary for advancing in spiritual life. So here's another very important lesson: is a Brahman. The duty of a Brahman is to sacrifice. So Kashyapa Muni is also doing his duty, and he's inquiring about the duties of all the Brahmans. Because the Brahman is cultivating knowledge, he has the power, has the Shakti to illuminate, to give knowledge, to give direction to society. And that's why Prabhupada first emergential act was to create a society of Brahmins. Because then the Brahmins would enlighten the whole society and society would rise. That was his plan. And therefore devotees sometimes get confused thinking that ISKCON is only a society of Brahmins. ISKCON is a society where the Brahminical culture permeates the whole institution. But it's a society where all the ashrams and all the varnas have a role. And now this is coming up as the second half of Prabhupada's mission. But here Kashyapa Muni is illuminating us about what is the duty of a Brahman. A Brahman does sacrifice. That's what he does. And how does he sacrifice? He does offerings to the Lord on a daily. He worships the deities, he reads scriptures, he gives classes, he offers his illumination to others. Therefore, we are a preaching movement. Therefore, we distribute books. The Prabhupada set the society in a way which the very economical function of the society is based on its purpose, which is to illuminate society. So he is asking, have the Brahmins failed to do their duties? And now you see Aditi, she is going to approach her husband, which she thinks is her spiritual master, in the appropriate mood. The same mood Arjuna approached Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. And we all know that Karpanya dosho pahata svabhavaha prichami tvam dharma samudachitaha. Karpanya, due to miserly, miserly. Karpanya dosho, weakness. Upahata is afflicted on. So Arjuna is approaching Krishna saying, look, I am afflicted by this weakness and miserliness. Therefore, I cannot understand. So I'm asking you, please tell me what is the best for me. And that's how a disciple should approach the Guru. Not with the idea that I know everything, I'm just going to have a Guru to stamp my initiation. But actually sometimes I'm more intelligent than my Guru Maharaj. And that's a big pitfall which a disciple can be entrapped in, thinking that he knows more than the spiritual master. You see, Prabhupada is so careful that every time something great happens in his society, he says, this is happening due to the grace of my spiritual master. He's sending all these American young boys and girls. Every moment he was offering respect to his spiritual master, because that's the attitude of a qualified disciple. A qualified disciple is ready to inquire and to do the service properly. And we can see in the example of Tamal Krishna Maharaj, how he was so expert in reading Srila Prabhupada's mind. He could understand what Prabhupada wanted before Prabhupada said it. You could see how sharp he was in noticing what the spiritual master wanted from him. He was surveying the whole world, thinking what my spiritual master needs. He was in India, he was in Japan, he was in America doing the book distribution. And he was very strong. He was considered a strong GBC member, because he was aware of what the spiritual master really wanted. And if you hear his classes, you can see his clarity in understanding of Srila Prabhupada's mission. So, why does the disciple have to approach the Guru like this? Because it's not only the disciple who has to accept the Guru has to accept the disciple. And how will the disciple make the Guru accept him? By inquiring and doing the service properly. So many examples in our scriptures. So many examples. And this is a central principle, how to approach a teacher. Because when the teacher is pleased, naturally, he will, out of affection, pour down the nectar. He'll pour down the transcendental knowledge. And that's why we come to Sri Mayapur. Because Mayapur is supposed to be a place where many senior enlightened devotees gather. And very easily you can derive transcendental knowledge from all these great souls who set their homes in the Dham, in Sri Dham Mayapur. It's such a great facility. So we should take advantage of this. And Kashyapa Muni is inquiring from Aditi, have you become a Grihamedi? Have you become a Grihamedi? Only thinking about the homely affairs. Only think about what's going on in the house. And why is he saying that? It's not because he has an aversion to Grihamedis. It's simply because when there is attachment, there is suffering. Attachment equals suffering. Why? Because we want to enjoy the world without paying the price. Everything we use, the sunlight, the water, the ether, everything is controlled by the demigods. So we think that we can take this without paying the price. Like a child goes in a shop and he thinks, oh, so much chocolate, I can just take it and enjoy without a consequence. But soon he finds the shopkeeper pulling his ear or calling his father and saying, this boy did something not proper. Similarly, you may think this is funny, but that's what humanity is trying to do in the present days. One country reaches a place, he thinks, this is my place, I can drill the earth, I can do oil, I can do fracking, I can do anything. I can take the seeds, I can make them genetically modified, I can do anything I want. Because it's my land, I came first. I have the right to explore this place. That is the mentality without paying the price. So what's the consequence? War, pollution, craziness in the minds of the youth. That's what's happening right in front of us. That is the childish mentality. And here, Kashyapa Muni, understanding this point so clearly, saying, attachment will generate suffering. So, that's why he's asking the question, have you done your duties properly? That's the payment. And what is the suffering? Some people say, yes, you're saying this, but the world is so nice. I go to these beautiful beaches in East Asia, so interesting. I go surfing, I go to the mountains in the Himalayas. I'm enjoying. So what is the point? I have money, I can stay in nice hotels, I can do nice things. But what are you saying? It is suffering. What is your position? Once I was challenged by an affluent member of society, and he was saying, life is so good, I don't understand why you have this thing against life. Life is cool, I love life. That was his point. But he could not understand that the results are limited and temporary. One moment he might go bankrupt, and he's attached to enjoy all those things, and now he doesn't have them anymore. He will suffer. Actually, it happened. His father got bankrupt. He was the owner of a very big hospital, and he got just bankrupt. Because he was running a hospital again as a business, not as a Kaviraj. And then there's a price to it. So we can see the vision of a transcendentalist. He's showing her that attachment will give you some trouble. So what is his next preaching? As a guru, he will try to bring her to detachment. That is the first duty of a guru. To take the disciple to the Niskama Karma Yoga, where you do your service, but you are not thinking of the fruits of action. The fruits belong to Krishna, to Srila Prabhupada. I'm doing my service, and that's what I'm entitled to. It's a privilege to do service. But because in the Grihastha ashram, it is an ashram, therefore it's meant for spiritual advancement. Because we get bewildered by maintenance, sometimes the ashram aspect of the Grihastha ashram becomes a little lost. And it may take time before a Grihastha then is situated in the ashram. And that's why so many Grihasthas move to Sri Mayapur, in the hopes that now I'm going to situate myself in the Grihastha ashram, a place of shelter for spiritual knowledge, where I can help not only myself, but the family and the neighboring society around myself. So we see so many devotees who have done businesses, who have been successful in their lives, coming to Sri Mayapur now thinking it's time to do full-time service. A Vanaprastha project. And it's funny, if you go around and you ask, not many devotees have a Vanaprastha project. We do have a Grihastha project. He says, yes, you make the charts, you get to know the girl gets to know the boy, they decide where they're going to live, what service, everything is very properly situated. We're going to work these many years we're going to do this, have children, and then we're going to retire. There's a whole plan. But when it comes to Vanaprastha, then it becomes hazy. There's not a plan in place. It's not entirely the fault of a Grihastha, because Vanaprastha is hazy. You're supposed to do it through 25 years. So it's a big period. And you can shift in different moments in that until your life is purified completely and you can just do pure devotional service all day long. And Krishna says, and he pays his words, he maintains that preacher. I've seen so many preachers, they're so successful. They just preach and everything they need and more is given to them. Recently I was discussing this with His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu. And there's not a cloud of doubt, of uncertainty that he'll be maintained. His mind is so secure that by preaching, Krishna is giving everything with daily miracles, daily examples. That his own life is an example. It's a living, walking example. And like him, there's so many devotees have perfected their lives in preaching, in becoming a perfect medium, a transparent via medium for Srila Prabhupada's message. And that is a secret. Because Srila Prabhupada did something absolutely unique. He researched all the Vedic Siddhanta and he put it in a language which all of us in the Western world can relate to. Before Srila Prabhupada, remember Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had mats. Mats is a place for brahmacharis to cultivate knowledge. Usually there's not many women in a mat. A few come. But Prabhupada created a temple and he translated the message during very late hours of the night for the benefit of modern society, so that all of society could understand transcendental knowledge. That's his unique contribution. And not only translating and living in a room in India, but actually taking to the world and creating a living system where this transcendental knowledge could flow and then mature into a perfect Vedic society. That is something grand. That is something we should all be very proud of. Our spiritual master, he is the person who was prescribed to cross the 7 oceans and take bhakti to the whole world. And I heard this from a godbrother of his in tears in a Vyasa Puja saying, your spiritual master is glorious and you should know that, because he did what none other did. He took the bhakti process all over the world and no one else will ever do it again because he already did it. It's done. So that's the mission which we are involved in. And Kashyapa Muni, he is enlightening his wife about inquiring about the transcendental truth. And he will do that. And he will actually prescribe for her a measure, a process which she can attain everything she wants. And that is the Payo Vrata sacrifice ceremony, which she will do. And it's very interesting how this ceremony is based on milk. You see that in the Vedic culture, the Brahmins and the cows are clustered in one unit, because both of them are meant for sacrifice. The cows assist the Brahman in executing sacrifice. And that's why many devotees, when they discuss cow protection, they don't understand the position of milk. Milk is the medium for sacrifice. And just imagine if today Prabhupada prescribed that every one of us should drink between half a liter of milk, 1 or 2 cups, minimum 1, maximum 2 cups of milk daily, to nurture our spiritual tissues and understand the transcendental truth. Just calculate, for a population of 5,000 devotees, which ISKCON is, how much milk would you need? 2,500 liters a day. Do you know how many cows are needed for 2,500 liters? Milking cows? If they give 10 liters a day, which is a good cow for India, that's 250 milking cows. For every milking cow, you should expect a herd of 16. So you multiply 250 by 16, and you get the size of the herd to give milk from protected cows to all the devotees of Sri Mayapur. A big number, huh? Around 4,000 something cows right now. Now, what a size of a sacrifice that is. Isn't it easier to go to the store? Amul is there. My dudwala comes to my door. I don't mind what's happening behind his goshala. I just get the milk. Isn't it simpler? It may look simpler, but the consequence behind that we are not seeing. Just like we don't see the consequences behind a tractor, behind a car. We just see the nice car. We sit on the car, we jump down in Calcutta airport, perfect. Worked beautifully. We can't see what's happening in the factories. We can't see what's happening in drilling the Mother Earth for the oil. We just can't see. So similarly, we can't see what's happening behind that milk. So, protection of cows is a great sacrifice in all levels. Household level, manager level, king's level. And why is that sacrifice done? Because with that milk you can produce ghee. And from that ghee you can produce yagya. And from yagya you produce life. Yes, I think I'll end here, and there is one question. And then, okay. Yeah. 16. Okay, for every cow, then you have a calf. And as the herd progresses, you have males and females. They're retired cows. So the equation is around from 16, the very conservative ones, in the West, which we have a breeding curve, which is not every year. A cow will give milk for 3 years, naturally, lovingly, without being exploited. That means you can have 1 to 10. In between calves, retired, milking, bullocks from that cow. Understand? Yes. a cow will give milk. There are cows at 18 years old giving milk. But usually she'll give milk from 3 years old until 12. That's the, natural cycle. But many cows will be dried at 10, naturally. And then and a cow will live 20 years in general. But when you have a big herd, she'll live for 16 on average. There's calf mortality, bull mortality, so 16 is usually how much she lives. Yeah. Okay? Any other question?
How is that you mentioned that you mentioned, Prabhu, thank you for your class, and we hear that the dharma of the brahmana is sacrifice. Yet when a Kshatriya is performing his duty, is not all the duties we perform a sacrifice for the pleasure of the Lord?
Yes. All the ashrams prescribe sacrifice. But the specific duty of a Brahman, his occupation is sacrifice. Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? Sorry, what is the question? He's asking, is there any mantra to bring a Surabhi cow to my house? That's his question. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's your mantra. Prabhupada, he did not go into this. He just established cow protection in America with one cow called Kalia. She was blind from one eye, and he said, it's the best milk I've ever tasted. Prabhupada was not into the caste system. He could see the service of everyone, everywhere. Okay? Oh, his question is, protect the cow. Why previously the sacrifice of the cow was prescribed? Because there are certain sacrifices which are prescribed for different ages by the Vedas. For Kali Yuga, it's not allowed. And there is a certain logic to that sacrifice which only a very qualified Brahman could attain. And now there's no such qualified Brahman, so that's not done. That's it. Okay. One question, Mataji, there. We'll take this last question and then it will be time for darshan. And the Lord will be appearing in His beautiful sandalwood form. Not working? You can speak and I will repeat. Oh yes, there you are.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the very nice class. I was just wondering how our cows are treated at our ISKCON Goshala here in Mayapur.
Oh.
Will this have any effect on the happiness of our ISKCON devotees in Mayapur?
Her question is, she's inquiring about our local Goshala in Sri Mayapur and if that will have an effect on the community of Mayapur. Thank you for the question. Yes. And also it brings the individual responsibility. It's not that the manager is doing something, he is responsible, I have nothing to do with that. All of us have responsibility. If you want to take the credit, yes, the cows are taken care of, I am also being taken care of, I get the benefit of a peaceful society. But we all have the duty of being part of that solution. And what do I do? So many things. So many things. I have no money, Prabhu, I cannot do anything. Go to the Goshala, offer some service. Prabhu, I can do some contacting. Fantastic. Connect some life members to the Goshala. Prabhu, I'm an expert. I want to help. Join us. I think I can liaise with the government and make a very nice plan. And here's my proposal. I have a team, I have money, I have facility. You can do that. it's the duty of the whole society. Or I can't do any of this, but I have Lakshmi. I want to contribute to protecting the cows in Sri Mayapur. Why not? That's a very nice service. So, it's the whole community's duty, and it's of course the responsibility of the managers. So it's a hand-in-hand action. And if everybody does their duty, then Krishna is pleased, because his cows are pleased. After all, he goes out every day with them. We may not see it, but Radha Madhava runs out of the altar and he has to hang out with someone. So we have to see that his associates are well taken care of. Okay? Okay, I think it's time. We may talk later, Mataji. You may have more points that you'd like to say. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaura Premanandi.